I'll begin with an introduction in Gitxsan. Symbolos y, wilps we sex, will switch we as Anspayaxw, necht wath negwari, achship wath nochai, gitludath wath niaei, and achgigi wath nijitsi. So my name is Flora Wilson. I come from Kispiox. George Maldo, Isabel Maldo are my parents. Pete and Lottie Maldo are my grandparents. Just some background. I've lived and grown up in Kispiox. I think that we're pretty fortunate to have our grandparents raise us till we're about maybe 9 or 10 years old. We all lived in their house with them, our family. So my dad built his own house like half a block down the street, and then we moved down there. So during my formative years, or early years, I was very fortunate to hear my grandparents speak fluent Gitxsan. And I've been told that my grandmother refused to learn English. One of my other grandmothers wanted to teach her, but she said no, she didn't want to learn English. And I often refer to my grandmother in class because she was illiterate. She didn't know how to read or write. But man, those elders, they're encyclopedias because they retain everything up here. And I also relate that to some students. Like if they have it up here, but they can't get it from here through pen and paper. But if I sit there and ask them the questions, they're just like that. They answered, so they're compensating in other ways as well. I received my associate degree down at West when they advertised a 5-year teacher training program. But because of too many students dropping out, they said, they announced that they have to discontinue the program because there's not enough students there. So we only did our first 2 years there. So then we moved to Kamloops, where I completed my education degree. And I've been a teacher for about 15 years now in our local communities. I've worked at Gitxsanimx for 5 years. I helped set up the Gitxsanimx Language Nest, and I worked there for 2 years. I worked in Gitxsanimx for 2 years and worked at Gitxsanimx again for a year or two. And then I'm finally employed at our own school in our own community, Kispiox School. So I've been there for about 5 years now. And Wes has also had a silent speakers program. And silent speakers are those of us who, like, we hear the language, but we haven't been practiced speaking it. And when I worked at the Language Nest, we were working towards immersion. And when I was speaking Gitxsan, and like I haven't spoken it for a long time or very little, it hurts here because of how you pronounce words, like your throat. So mine hurt. So I was in the silent speakers program with Wes again. Audrey Morrison was leading it. And again, we started practicing speaking. So the first time I was with silent speakers, I was a student. And this last session, I was a mentor. And for me, beginning, I had to practice, like, I know what I want to say in English, and then I'd have to think up here, like, how would I say that in Gitxsan? And practice, like when you practice it in your head, it's easier for me, but then it's getting easier so that I don't have to think like in English, I want to say this, and then how would I say it in Gitxsan? So it's becoming easier for me. So it's getting easier. And I'm going from memory, from what I heard as a child, and trying to remember what Russell Stevens taught us in high school. So that's where my Gitxsan knowledge and information is coming from. And I was sharing with Colin that I feel like such a baby teacher here because the Art is a teacher. Rosaline is a teacher. They're older than I am, and they've been speaking the language longer. And Teresa and Victor are lucky that they've had their dad for such a long time. And because of residential school, my parents didn't speak Gitxsan at our house. So I just heard it from my grandparents. So coming from being a like a learner, especially, when I was in the education program, we had to take French as part of our education program. And that's where I really understood how students felt. You know, how you're writing questions on the board and you say, okay, who wants to answer this? And then they all like, not me, like you want to disappear and go way into the background. So I definitely really understood how students felt, because when our French professor came into the room, it was all French immersion, no English at all. And I didn't know any French. So there were those of us in university who said that we learned what French we know from Sesame Street. And then we had Francophones in there who said that the English they knew, they learned from Sesame Street. So we had that in common. And I think that's it. When I worked at the Language Nest, parents were commenting that they wanted us to teach the babies conversational Gitxsan, like to say hiihluuxw, yuxwsa, silkwsa, wila, like just general conversation. And with our babies at the Language Nest, we did calendar so the babies could count up to 31, and the parents were so impressed that they're saying that yeah, they're coming home and teaching us, and like they know this and they know that. So the teaching aspect for me will help, like how to try to figure out how to deliver in different ways where different learners can pick up. And resources are very important. Some people try to be really strict with spelling. I don't think you can be, because Gitxsan is not a standardized writing system, although some people have started and have tried. Like if we had a spelling test on here and I say this word, you know, we might get 8 different spellings. But as long as you can read it, that's what I did with my French. Like I was telling Colin, one of the words that really stuck in my mind was maintenant for French, and I spelled it METNAW. But when I saw it on like when I saw how it was written in French, the way I would read it in English, it looked like maintenant, like maintenant, like how'd you get maintenant out of that? So just learning a different language or a new language or brushing up on it. And another thing that I really want to say is something that I didn't, like an elder, a teacher didn't tell me until my kids were in high school. And Fidelia Bryan, she was the language teacher there. And we went for a parent-teacher interview. And she was saying that if this has ever happened to you, you know how little kids try to speak Gitxsan, and the parents or the grandparents are really proud and they kind of chuckle. And we as kids thought that they were laughing at us. So we didn't want to try anymore. But Fidelia was saying that they're not laughing at you, that they're just so proud. So if somebody kind of snickers or chuckles, I hope that you think that way and not that somebody's laughing at you and that you don't want to try or you don't want to learn. To me, that was a really big one, because like I've had quite a few people say that they tried and somebody laughed at them, so they didn't want to try anymore. So hopefully that we'll remember this, and some of the word pronunciations need to be really specific, Because when we were in the silent speakers program, this one student was loud and dominated the conversation. And she was trying to say tired. And when you say tired in Gitxsan, it's xlabis. But she was saying xlabish. And she didn't like it that I was, just saying several times, because there are other learners there. And if you learn xlabish that way, and then it might be hard for you to learn the proper way. So, and like I said, she was loud and she was dominating the conversation, and I didn't want new language learners and speakers to learn xlabish when it's xlabis or tired. Because I've heard, like, she wasn't the only one. There are other people who are trying to learn to speak the language, and like, I don't know, I don't want to offend them either, but like, if you know what they're talking about, like, would they be offended, like, if you say it's xlabis, not xlabish? So if you have any questions or comments, I also like to type it. You can type in the chat, and that's what I did with being a mentor, because we're on Zoom. When I was a student in the silent speakers, we were in class. But when I was a mentor with GWES for their silent speakers, and we just finished that session last week. We were on there for, I forget how many weeks, but it was nice. And it was nice that we could get together this way. And it's really nice to see people that live down south, and like, even in the community, I don't see Marilyn, I don't see Colin, because I just go to work and come home. So, trying to stay safe and like be safe in our community and for our students and our elders especially. And what I like to do is, like I said, conversational, if that's what you would like. If you have any questions, I can try to help you. I'm still learning as well. Like I said, I feel like I'm the baby teacher. So if I don't have the answer, I'm pretty sure we can get the answer from the other language teachers, or if you're on there with them. I like to write a lot of notes, so I have that, and as a reminder, maybe go on to when you're signing to the next lesson or something, and go back to that and come back and share with us.
Were you in class with Jeanette, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she's so cute. She invited her parents for supper, and I guess after supper was finished, she was finished cooking, and she went through and she said to her dad, "Dad, Edda Gielchen," she said to him. She meant to say, "Dad, Edda Jochen." Instead, she was telling him to go to bed.
And like just simple phrases or mistakes like that in Gitxsan are so much funnier. But well, like, supper's ready, and then you come in and tell your dad to go to bed instead of come to eat. But that would be funny too. But like, it just seems so much funnier in Gitxsan. Okay, I know who Sandra and Pearl are, or Jenny, because they're our cousins on Nunu's side. Colin's my cousin on Nunu's side. Okay, I don't know who Randy is, so if I can ask you to introduce yourself, please.
Hello, nice to be here. My name is Randy. I live in Hazelton, and I'm here because I actually work as a nurse in Gitxsanimx.
Oh.
So I'm always been interested in languages. I've studied a number of different languages, and I moved up here, Gitxsan territory, in September. And because of COVID, I wasn't able to take any classes until this week. So I'm really happy to be here.
It sure is nice to have people joining us, especially when it's going to help you with your work. So just while I remembered, while you're introducing yourself, I'm glad you said that you're a nurse at Kispiox, because we have two dialects here. One is Eastern and one is Western. The Western dialect includes Gitxsanimx, Kitwanga, and Kitsugukla. And the Eastern dialect, and some people try to be funny and call us East Indians. But the Eastern dialect includes Kispiox, galanhl, Gitxsanimx, those three, right? I'm not missing any. Okay, so just so you know that there's Eastern and Western dialect. And when a funny story to share with you, when I was going to work at Kispiox and Memphis was old enough, he had to come out to school out there with me. And it's a Western dialect, whereas we're Eastern. So I was trying to remember things that would be different. And he was just little. I think he was in grade 2 or 3. So I was telling him, we say gwi, they say gu. And he looked at me like, we don't say gu. Like he was little. So I was just trying to get him ready, like to share information because Millie was his teacher. Just so that he knows. Some words are similar and some words can be really different, or some words have different meanings, just so that you know. And try to help you as much as I can if you have different words for the Western dialect. But they also have the Western dialect online on First Voices, but we don't have the Eastern dialect on First Voices yet. So that's a resource, and they have the visual and the verbal too, the recordings.
You know, my brother Art Wimuckles has been grooming me, and I'm just so scared because it's a big responsibility. Anyways, he had me announcing when people started lagyan in the feast. And this guy came up from the western side and he said, "Slots, $100, he said to me. I looked at him and I went, did I hear you right? Because what I heard was lots.
Oh. Yeah, you gotta be really careful. Oh.
And he's a hereditary chief. And I went, Gwynengi, I said to him, and he said it again, but he said it with slots. He said,
Yes.
oh, okay.
Yeah, really good thing that you clarified.
But at the same time, I had a hard time saying it because of how it sounds.
Yeah.
Because the way it sounds, it sounds like you're saying a woman's private part. But it's a piece of the piece of the fish's heart. That's what slots is.
Oh.
Anyways, my mind just went frickin' directly in the gutter, and I was too scared to say it. And so we need to be really careful with, you know, how
Yes.
we say stuff, especially when it comes to a chief.
Yes. Because if she made that mistake, she'd have to do a public apology and they would have to put money in the bank and pay him.
Mm-hmm. Clean up my mess.
Yes. Okay, Phoenix, can I ask you to introduce yourself? I don't know who you are.
Yes, sorry, I didn't realize prior to recording that I didn't really introduce myself, but I live in the Lower Mainland, and my great-grandmother, Cora Whale, is from Kispiox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's my connection to Kispiox. My mother's her granddaughter, Allison, and yeah, my family is more so from Hazelton, but we didn't really lose the connection to Kispiox, you know, with our relatives there.
Mm-hmm. And another thing I'm learning is that like the origin of Gitxsan language, like comes from Kitsagas and Kaldo too. So I'm learning that, like some people pronounce, I don't know, they say Kitsagas Gitxsan or Kaldo Gitxsan, I guess. So just another thing to keep in mind.
I guess just quickly, yeah, if anyone wants me to, like, I can edit the videos afterwards to, like, if you don't want your personal, like, introduction, all that to be put out there, I could happily do that. So please just let me know, and like I'm happy to make sure everyone's comfortable and having a good time.
Okay.
Take out what I just shared about slots.
Oh, no way, that's gold.
So that again, that stresses the importance of pronunciation and listening.
But if you
And
want, I can.
yeah, because your mouth has to be a certain way to say that, right? Like that your tongue goes up on your gums behind your front teeth, and you blow the air out on the side, like kind of like a snake hissing, but your tongue goes up there to pronounce some of the words. Okay, so I like to use chat, so I'm just gonna, if you have any questions or if you want me to do anything, because it's Tuesday, do you guys know the days of the week? Tuesday.
The elder speaking yesterday shared the days of the week, but the audio was a bit lower quality, so I couldn't hear it properly. So that would be nice if you could share that with us.
Yep, so I like to do that on chat as well. Tuesday, hanii gilbilhsa, and April is lasa ya'a. Ya'a is spring salmon. So a month, spring salmon return.
I'm just gonna jump in here as the lull. My extensive knowledge of Gitxsanimx, gilbil means two, right?
Yes.
And so I would assume hanii is day. And so it's really just saying second day of the week.
Yes.
Nice, nice.
Did
Good
you
to
want
know.
me to type out the rest of the days of the week on here? I could do that. Okay.
I'd appreciate that.
Gwilalhlsa. Thursday. You have to think about Sunday. I don't say Sunday very much. Is it hanii sgwa itxwsa? I think it is. Sunday.
Dad just said that's it.
Oh, I didn't finish spelling it. I accidentally. Let me. Sgwa itxwsa. Oh, gee, going blank. That's not how you spell it, but that's how I think it is right now. Maybe if I put it on. Okay, I think I got it. Easier for me when I spelled it on the paper. Let me. Okay, the last one I think is closer, not the other one. Monday. Sgoogumsa. Okay, and the definition I got for Saturday was yeekxsa, like when the Indian agents were around and handing out rations or something, I guess. That's the only thing I got for Saturday, yeekxsa, like yeek is to hand stuff out. Okay, so Tuesday, hanii gilbilhsa, second day of the week. April, lasa, the month that the spring salmon return. Wednesday, hanii gwilalhlsa. Thursday, hanii talpxhlsa. Friday, xwsdinshlsa. Saturday, hanii yeekxsa. Sunday, hanii sgwa. Monday, sgoogumsa. And what really helped the students I was helping with the silent speakers or the Gitxsan language was when we used our the microphone on Messenger, so that I could just record it on there, and then they just had they could just replay it and practice it. So they had access to it like whenever they wanted on their cell phone.
Can I give it a shot reading through them all and maybe hear your
Sure.
pointers?
Yep.
So, hanii gilbilhsa.
Hello, everybody.
Okay, surprise
Oh,
winkles.
photo bomber.
Lasa,
Yes,
hanii gwilalhlsa,
yes.
hanii talpxhlsa,
Mm-hmm.
hanii xwsdinshlsa,
Mm-hmm.
hanii yeekxsa,
Mm-hmm.
hanii
Squite. Mm-hmm.
sgoogumsa.
Yes.
Yes.
Anybody else want to try? If you're shy, it's okay. That's how I felt like when I first went to the silent speakers, and there were these other people there who, like Audrey was there and her sister was there, and other people I thought like had spoke Gitxsan more than I did. But like I said, it gets easier. So I'm, like I said, it's practicing speaking it more, like even just funny little things. I was trying to call Memphis to come help me pack wood. I said, galanhl, and he called me bakis. I said, Eswin means hurry up. And he said, Yin, telling me to go away. So he's starting his little bit of language, and that's a good start, I think, like any little thing. And you get more confident, and then you're exercising like all these muscles. So like I said, when I first sore, I noticed that when I was beginning to speak.
Okay, I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
Tuesday, hanii gilbilhsa. April, lasa. The month or Wednesday, hanii
Gwilalhlsa, just like when you're counting,
okay. Hanii gwilalhlsa. Thursday, hanii talpxhlsa.
Mm-hmm.
Friday, hanii
Stints. Mm-hmm.
Saturday, hanii yeekxsa.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, hanii sgwa.
Yep. Monday.
Sgoogumsa.
See, this is like if this doesn't make sense to you, the way that I put it on the chat, spell it the way you'll remember how you can pronounce it. And just while I'm on, I keep sharing this funny story. Marilyn, you probably heard it. I don't know if anybody else did when I was little. And people come knocking at your door, and the grannies say, "Nit, and then somebody comes to the door, and they're standing there kind of dick. And then they say, "Xwsdinshlsa." They're asking, like, do you have $5 I can borrow? So I was telling my students in class to learn that and say that to your parents or your grandparents. They'll probably have a good chuckle. And that nowadays it's not only $5, it's $20, $50, $100. So just something I remembered. Like I remember hearing these things. So to me, it's a good memory, a funny memory, but probably wasn't funny for the person who was having to come and borrow, or the person they were coming to ask to borrow money from. So so I just share things that that I remember hearing, and I ask about it.
You know, we got home the other day. It's been chilly around here, eh? And we came into the trailer, and I said, "Luspidix didn't." Mel, I said to him, and Mel looked at me and went, "You just used an old word," he says. And then I told him, I said, "I think I said it's a little bit warm in here, like it feels nice." I think that's the translation. I could be wrong, but I remember Granny and using that word, Luspidix.
Yes, and that word came up in our silent speakers because one of the women was saying that she had to draw her mom's bath, and that's the word she used. So there's like common language, Gitxsan, and then we're hearing that there's old language too. So they have I think the elders have their little ace in the pocket there that they.
Flora, can I ask a question? Sunday, the itxwsa, could you pronounce that again? Because I have a hard time putting those letters together.
Okay, hanii xwsdinshlsa.
Can you say the last part again?
Hanii xwsdinshlsa.
Itxwsa.
Yeah. Again, like you see, your mouth moves all over the place when you say that one. Hanii xwsdinshlsa. So you're kind of blowing air out at the part. Hanii xwsdinshlsa.
Thanks.
And when I spell it, I like to spell it like with try to spell it with syllables. Like the days of the week are more common, but if you get some other words, I will spell it with syllable breaks.
Translation for hanii xwsdinshlsa is kind of like it's a rest day, a day of rest, but it also means Sunday, which is cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Luspidix. Yeah, warm. And that's so specific. Hey, some of the Gitxsan words are so specific that it means this, and context too, how you're using it. So another thing people wanted to learn: good morning, umhl. Good afternoon. Yeah. Good afternoon is silkwsa. Some people say galanhl. So I'll put that on there too. Galanhl means after. So either way is acceptable. Good evening. Yuxwsa. So just like yuxwsa. Just to exaggerate the pronunciation. Yuxwsa.
Yuxwsa. People.
Because yuk is a different word. So like if it's spelled YKW, like maybe somebody's working on something, yuk, doing something. Yuxwsa.
Yuxwsa.
Ooh.
Okay, so usually or sometimes after greeting, like hiihluuxw or silkwsa, galanhl or yuxwsa, somebody might say umhl, like are you okay? Are you good? How are you? Umhl.
Wila.
You could say eh. Willie. Yes. Hey, there's a teacher right there. Sign him up for Wednesday, Thursday.
I mean, if Mel's interested, I could get him on board, 100%.
Yes. So
He
when
ran away as soon as Flora said that.
But he'll probably still be in the background and listen like Mel did with Audrey, because Audrey's like, Mel, how do you do this? Mel, how do you do that? So be involved, and we'll get him to the front of the camera soon. Sometimes people might say this one too, ndah wila win. Like maybe how are you? Ndah wila win. How are you? Ndah wila win. Oh, maybe you should teach Randy this one in case they call him this. Maluu. We like to tease.
He probably knows it already.
No, my favorite word is alakx.
Oh. Alakx means mad.
Oh, I was told it means grumpy.
Yeah, grumpy or mad.
What are ways to respond to ndah wila win?
Oh, ndah wila win. You could say the willy, like up on top, because people don't usually say. Well, some people might say nedi willy siep hui, or like say no, not good, I'm sick, but not. I don't think many people do. Unless they're like really close family and they know, like they say, like I heard you were sick and just want to support you or something. Say moomst also means crazy, in case they call you that. I think we need to teach you. Moomst is crazy. Yeah, moomst. I like these words where it's aski means
No, I'm not.
in the dictionary it says aski means ugly, but I don't mean that if I call somebody aski. Like it's kind of like a term of endearment, I think, unless somebody says it like really mean to you. So in the dictionary it says it means ugly, and I don't like negative words like that. Bakis is monkey.
Somebody here knows what bakis means.
So it's good to get the funny, humorous things out of the way. Like I said, Memphis was just using what he knew, and we just had fun laughing.
Other thing I used to hear in our household was niggin, niggin, niggin.
You're not allowed to say that anymore. um,
A funny one that I learned from my dad recently, since I have a newborn. I asked him how to say fart because, you know, we're always trying to get baby to fart because they're always crying about that. He said, masxw.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Or if somebody calls you ismas, they're calling you a little fart. Or we. And like I said, it's usually a term of endearment and just teasing. So I put tilx on there because like it's oolican grease season. Sack is oolican's. I haven't heard like the Gitxsan word for seaweed recently. I had to think flaqas for seaweeds because herring. Oh, geez, herring eggs is a different word.
Swink.
Yes, I think I would put it that way because I've heard it pronounced swin, so I don't know. Like it has a at the end, swin. So you've got ooh. Then you say ooh, ehai, tilx, sack, flaqas, swin. Good job. So just trying to think of things that are coming up. Mock is rhubarb. I transplanted ours, separated some of them. So those are sprouting really nicely. Rhubarb. Mock. Mock. Wilpsahon smokehouse. That'll be coming up soon. All the goodies that come out of the smokehouse are hooks, towel, walgohon, what else is there?
Do you know a way to say half smoked?
What is that?
Half smoked, like
Towel.
oh, okay, sorry. How about jarred?
Hey, let me think. I know it, and then somebody asked me that, and then you just draw a blank. Okay, so jarred salmon. Trying to think and remember what I heard my grandparents saying when they're fixing it. Okay, so this is what I can think of right now, like jamhun, like to cook the fish or cook it in a pot. So I can check on that and ask the other people.
Mel said you're right.
Yay. Yay. Because anjam is a pot. And I haven't heard this one before either. Lip well, frying pan. Lip well. I like these Gitxsan words where you pronounce them like these ones, just the way it's spelled, not the way you have to rearrange your mouth to say it.
Can you say jarred salmon again?
Okay, jarred salmon, jamhun, like to cook
Jump,
fish. Jam,
jump one, jump one,
jam.
jump.
Yeah, go. Yeah, yeah.
Samhun. I asked Dad a little earlier too. He said another way of that he heard was kanamhun,
Kanamhun.
because they used to have tins before the glass jars, and some of the old people
Okay.
just used
Okay,
the
so they combined the English with the Gitxsan.
mm-hmm.
Kanamhun. Hobich is spoon. Hobich. So I know when they write these down, sometimes they underline the X to make that hobich, like the sound. What else is there? Did you have any other questions?
I do, Flora.
Okay.
My granny, I used to remember when she talked to us, and she always said to me, "Samee." Like, does that mean, do you understand?
Samee.
Yeah.
I've heard simhenna, like, are you telling the truth? Like you're not kidding me, you're not lying. Simhenna.
Sameh means I'm right. Like
I'm
she was
right.
probably telling you a story, and then she said Sameh, Samehe.
Okay.
I remember her telling me something to do, and before I left, and she goes, "Sameh." It's like she would say that to me.
Samee.
So I always wondered if that was, do you understand?
Samee.
Nemhalak heya. That means do you understand what I mean? Nemhalak heya.
Nem-
Yeah.
nem-
Or you could say hugich he. Hugich ni. I'm right.
Mm.
Mel says I'm always right.
Mrs. Right. Mr. and Mrs. Right. First name always. Okay, so I just put what Marilyn put on there. Nemulach. Do you know or understand what I'm saying? Oh, a good one. Hotsamohen. Like if you don't understand or if you don't hear somebody, you can say Hotsamohen. Like just to say it again. Or ready, live, and or gilbilhsa, or if you say gilbilhsa, I don't know.
Nandin hala gwe, Mel says. I don't know nothing.
When we're in the silent speakers, because the conversation, like you don't reply in complete sentences, right? You don't repeat what somebody else said, and like just a conversation. So we're teaching, we had a workbook that we were going through, and the students were trying to translate literally where you don't have to. And one of the things, like you can just reply with one word answers, like, or one thing, like yin means go away. Eda yin means go away. You say eda yin wakaidu, like go far away. And then one of the guys added on eda yin wakaidu I how do go switchwin. Like go, like kind of like go get lost and don't come back. So I didn't expect that from him, and we were laughing really hard. So we could put eda yin right. Auto. Kind of like go far away. So if somebody's making you mad, you could say that. Erayin wakaitu. Erayin wakaitu. How to go switch one. Hey, this one I learned down at the school. I don't know that I've heard that before. In Gitxsan, and the students come in, they say "gausu," and that means to be quiet. I've always just heard "zeqwin," like shut up. So I was like, what does that mean?
So when you're talking about translating literally, like I remember just joking around saying "Jehun Widzamach." Is that being literal or
No, no,
is that
no.
no?
Like we had workbooks. We had workbooks for the silent speakers program, and they had like sample phrases on there. So they wanted us to translate that from English to Gitxsan.
Oh, so like you just do phrases to replace the words. Yeah.
Could I ask you to type out what you said before about asking for $5? So
Oh.
I'll ask my dad after this.
That's not enough, Colin.
Give me some chips at least.
xwsdinshlsa. Do you have $5 I can borrow? xwsdinshlsa.
xwsdinshlsa.
Yes.
I'll be rich.
Oh.
Or maybe, how do you ask for $1,000?
I've heard this one. Dumbagan hanina. You're gonna get it. Just I think they're just like joking phrases. Like I don't think I haven't heard anybody say like and really mean it, like they're gonna beat you up.
One question about like phrases and Edian is Edian Bakhane, is that like get out of here fast, or
Yep.
what would you translate that as?
Bakhan is run.
Oh.
So Edayin, get out of here. Bakhan, run.
Yeah, we don't speak it much, but we do use a few words here and there, and Edian Bakhane is one of the ones that we know.
That's a start.
You can even say Eda Bachen. It means go run. You don't need to say Eda Yin. It sounds so mean.
Yeah, Rekhun is to run away.
I realized we're the time's flying by. It's already 5:12. Just wanted to update, and there's no hard time limit, and I'll make sure that our teachers get compensated well for their time on my end. But yeah, just wanted to make a note.
I'm taking Wet'suwet'en language, and ours is only 1 hour. And yeah, we've had many teachers, and some of them are young, like Flora, and it's good to learn from each other.
Yeah.
And
different teaching styles too, and others, like I said, they have different knowledge. And so see, I like to put it on the chat, type it in there so that you have a reference, and I put it in Gitxsan and English. And like I said, to me, don't worry about the spelling. Spell it the way you can read it and pronounce it, and the spelling can come later.
Oh, and for the spelling, when I upload the video on YouTube, I can copy everything that Flora has written in chat and put it in the description. So if you didn't have a chance to write it down, it'll all be there.
How do people, there's a thing there, like you can save chat. I've never done it, but like students that were in the silent speakers, they could save the chat, and I don't know how can you like highlight and copy or save or paste?
If you click on, there's a series of 3 dots right beside file, and then save chat will pop up there. And once you click it, you can also click show in folder, and there'll be a tiny little text document that'll be made. And if you open that up, that'll have all of the chat with the times of when it was written and who wrote it saved in there.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I see that.
I just want to apologize for signing in so late yesterday, Colin. I thought it was 5 o'clock here. It's 4 o'clock. I'm like, oh man, I signed in right when they were finishing everything. Just saw Rosaline dancing around. Oh.
No worries, we'll be going for a long time yet, so you can catch a lot of them.
Okay. Yeah, I think I gotta go. I'm hungry. I want to go cook supper. I have to wait for that now too. Yeah, Thank you. Sure, it's nice to see you guys.